beautiful beings, and welcome to my sacred space. My name is Raven, and thank you so much for being here. Tonight, I am going to give you a deck comparison video between the Modern Witch Tarot by Lisa Sturl and the This Might Hurt Tarot by Isabella Rotman. This is a mass market deck by Liminal 11, and this one is an independent deck. Alright, first, why am I comparing these two? Just because when I was cleaning up my space, I thought I wanted to let go of this deck because when I received or when this came in the mail and I had a look at it, it kind of like really reminded me of the Modern Witch Tarot. And at some point during the flip through, I kind of like thought, hey, maybe I should rehome this deck. Maybe somebody else will need it more than I do or will bond with it more than I do and appreciate it and give it the attention that it needs. But I decided to use it last night, and boy oh boy, everything just was, it was like so streamlined. Everything was just so smooth. It was so easy to read. You know how when you kind of like reading something and then you realize you're not wearing your glasses, and then you pull your glasses and you were like, oh man, why didn't I get my glasses in the first place? That's how it felt like. The moment that I used this deck and read with it, I was like, hey, maybe it's not time for us to part ways yet, because it was just so clear and so spot on. And yeah, no, so I don't think I will part ways with this deck anytime soon. I guess we're still pretty much bonded, even though I haven't used this deck for a while. And so yeah, well, I'm not parting with this one either. So today, I just wanted to come up with a video in case you are, trying to purchase a modern theme deck and you're trying to decide between the two. So let's start. If you're just here to see, of course, I will do a flip through. And if you're just here to see that part, please have a look at the timestamp in my description box below so you can just jump to that part. I already said a lot, but I think I'll speak a little bit more. This is, like I said, a mass market deck, so it is a lot cheaper. I think I got this for, maybe less than $20 when I purchased it. This one is, of course, more expensive because it is an independently published deck by Isabella Rotman, and I got this one for I think maybe 45, maybe a little bit more, plus shipping. So, of course, in terms of quality, they are different. Okay. Size first. Size, well, let's have a look at this side. Yeah, I'm not sure if you can see, but this one is a little bit smaller. Just a teeny tiny bit smaller. Like you can see here, it's just, a smidge thinner and a hairline shorter than the Modern Witch deck. Backing, as you can see, they kind of like have the same feel or vibe with their backing as well. I mean, it's of course reversible, both of them are, and I guess this one has a more playful vibe just because it's colored, and this one I'm not really that much of a fan of the backing. I mean, it's pretty, I like the symbolisms in it. It's just I don't the vibrancy of this deck is not translated in the backing of the cards, so I'm not really a fan of this. I prefer this backing. Quality. Okay, let's talk about quality because that's a bit complicated. Cardstock wise, okay, as you can see, this one is thick. This is like the thickest cardstock ever. This one is quite thick, but at the same time, it's bendable. It's bendy. It's pliant. It's good. It's really good. This one, you know how when you try to bend this, you might feel a little bit scared that it will not snap back. Do you know what I mean? It is very thick. It is super glossy. This one is not. It's matte, which I love. And as you can see, the light is being diffused on this one. So if you do readings using digital readings, perhaps, this might be the better one for you, because only because, the ring light will definitely be reflected on the glossy deck, on the Modern Witch deck. Um, Beautiful cardstock, actually, for for the This Might Hurt Tarot. I love the smoothness of it. This one is kind of like a little bit tacky, a little bit sticky. But I guess that's the quality because of the glossiness of this deck. But there you go, just for the cardstock. Packaging. Alright, let's start with the Modern Witch deck. This is, like I said, by Liminal. I'm gonna put it aside for a little while. There. This is by Liminal 11. And I think I'm guessing this is the first tarot deck from Liminal 11, because, or at least in this packaging, because you can see, flop, it doesn't have the bottom flap that they now have with the Luna Soul Tarot. I'm gonna show you just for reference. So this one has a little bit more, protection in it. If you remove it like that, it's not gonna fall out because it does have this. So that's very smart that they did that. But yeah, this one, if you pull it, it's just really gonna fall out. And I don't even have the deck inside. So imagine if the deck is inside, which makes it heavier, it will definitely fall unless you're very, very careful. Mine's already dirty and banged up, as you can see, because I've had it for a while, but it is a beautiful packaging. It's just, that's just my only issue about it. It has this pretty design, the sigils, the symbols inside the icons, so you have that inside. I'm gonna put it here. And then it came in with, of course, this one has this too. Okay. And then it came in with an extra card. This is the Everything is Fine card. And according to Lisa Sturl, this is the card that started everything. Like, she just created her own version of the Ten of Swords in modern setting. And I think this is what inspired her to continue creating the other cards. And then here you have like a welcome card that says, "You are a badass being full of life, love, and possibilities. Through this deck, may you find a path to your best self." Beautiful. So these are two extra cards that I don't really use. Guidebook. Now, okay, this is your typical Liminal 11 guidebook. I'm guessing this is the first one, so everything else must be patterned from this one. But it has that hardbound cover, and it is black and white, so you can see it really, it's, well, I would have to say that newer Liminal 11 decks are colored, and it's a lot prettier. This one, I think it's good. You would have the meanings. It's just that I would have preferred if there are like more keywords here, so that in one look you would know. I wouldn't say, like, for beginners, I would say that this guidebook would have to be maybe just a 6 or a 7, just because, I don't know, like, it doesn't really say much. And for the minor arcana, you would just have continuous explanation like that. Really. Queen of Cups, a comforting and therapeutic guide, just deeply in tune with the inner worlds of emotions. Just like that. I mean, it would have preferred it if they just used maybe the keywords. I mean, that would have looked better. But that's just me. I'm thinking for beginners, of course. And then here you would have about reading the tarot, some spreads, just very few spreads. And there you go. That's your guidebook. Alright, so we're done with the Modern Witch tarot deck, and we are now focusing on the This Might Hurt tarot deck. Immediately upon looking at this one, you would already know that this is, I guess, an independent deck, in the sense that the quality of its production is quite top-notch. You have this beautiful metallic foiling happening for the title and some of the parts. This is a very beautiful and intricate design on all of the sides, and the feel of the box immediately is just so premium. It really gives off that vibe immediately. And when you open it up, you would have this beautiful flower, and then you have the guidebook. So, and I love that this has that, clamshell. That's what they call it, right? The clamshell box with a magnetic side flap, because, it's so easy. It's so easy to open, so easy to access the cards, and I love that it's very clean. And I hit my head on the camera. I'm sorry. So in the back, you would have that, and it's just beautiful, beautiful production quality. Now, let's talk about the guidebook. The guidebook is also beautiful. It also has that rose petal feel. I love just touching it. I know it sounds weird, but it does. It really feels good to the touch. It is quite thick, as you can see. It is a lot thicker than the Modern Witch guidebook. And this one has a bunch of information, mind you. And, you'd have the introduction wherein she explains her idea for this deck, and you would already have some spreads in the beginning. There's not a lot of spreads, if I remember. Yeah, just that. But I guess that's fine. And then here, explanations about the different suits. Also, definitions of the numbered cards and the court cards, and on gender and tarot. This is where she explains more about her choices for the kings and the queens and all of that in the deck. Also, her thought of, tarot being a gender fluid medium, which I think is, phenomenal. And then you would have reverse card meanings here, and then onto the card descriptions. And I said this in my review, I think it's really awesome that Isabella Rotman left these like her original sketches. Like, these are not colored. So, if you're, a fan of coloring books when you were a kid, then you could actually color these. And I think it's really cool. Plus, you have a lot of information per card, which is, very substantial for, especially if you're a beginner. And another thing that I like about it is the fact that it does have. Let's start. Okay, so the minors doesn't have like an extra line, right? But the majors doesn't have an extra line, but the minors have, and I think it's so quirky. I think it's very smart. It's very clever. Here, the green light, the travel card, the intern, the pointless conflict card, king of the hill, the one who rides like she's on fire, the sad boy crying over spilled cups card. I think it's funny. It's very interesting. It's smart. It's I don't know. It's perfect. I like it a lot. At the same time, it would make it easier if if you're a beginner and you read that, you would automatically have like an association with the card. Like, there's something for you to kind of like tie it with. Oh, yeah, I remember this emo kid is crying over. It's funny, right? So I think that helps if you're trying to memorize the meanings of the cards. But other than that, everything is just really full of information. The wealth of information on this guidebook is really, really good, and I think it's really well thought of. Plus, at the end, Isabella Rotman actually also mentioned her inspiration for the deck. So that's really cool that she did that. So, yeah, for the guidebook, I would say 9 out of 10. Okay, moving on to the side-by-side comparison. As you can see, the Modern Witch Tarot is hella thick. It is really thick. And it is one of my woes from using this deck, just because I really can't shuffle it. I find it really difficult to shuffle. And I'm not going to shuffle because I just finished arranging these cards, but later I will show you how much of a struggle it is for me to shuffle this deck. But I'm going to flip it over so that we can start our flip through. And then later, I will show you before that, I forgot to show you. This one has this black holographic edging, which I think is beautiful. Don't you think? I don't know. I mean, this is my first black holographic edging, and I'm so in love with it. But yeah, I'm gonna shut up now, and we're gonna start with the side by side flip through. there you go. That's the flip through for both cards. Now, what have you noticed? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm gonna say my thoughts now. And well, as always, I just really try to, express what I think, and I don't sugarcoat anything. But one might think that the This Might Hurt Tarot somehow, maybe used the Modern Witch Tarot deck as an inspiration, like a full on inspiration. Just because, like, most of the images are quite the same, even the colors of the outfit, right? But one thing that I would have to say that I like more about this deck is how expressive the faces are. Look at that. Like this one, like, yeah, whatever, she could be stealing and whatnot, but, her face doesn't really show much. But this one, yeah, you can see. I think the This Might Hurt Tarot deck has a lot more emotions. It offers a lot more emotions. Like even this one. And like I said, one of the cards that I feel like are so similar, they could be twins, just taken from different angles. But look at this one. See her face versus her face. Even lion, right? So yeah, that's one of the things that I noticed. But as you can see, both decks are gorgeous. Both decks are colorful. They do have the same modern feel. This one is pretty much color. Let me show you. Let's go to the suits, okay? This deck is a little bit more color coordinated. As you can see, like if it's wands, it's gonna be orange or reddish in color, right? If it's swords, it's gonna be green all throughout, like almost like the same. And if it's cups, you would have purplish, bluish color. And if it's, as you can see, right? But this one doesn't have that. It varies all throughout. And I'm messing it up already because I am gonna shuffle them for you so that you can see and have a look at how well they do. But before that, I would also like to point out that both of these decks really did well in their display of inclusivity and diversity. Oh yeah, the coloring. As you can see, like this one is just solid, right? This one offers a little bit more gradient. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a little bit more depth into the coloring of this deck, and I think it's beautifully made. Not taking anything away from the Modern Witch Tower. I mean, it is gorgeous in itself, but it is a colorful deck. But I feel like this one, the This Might Hurt Tarot, is, you can clearly see it. It is a little bit more vibrant, right? And like I said, the depth, it's a little, I guess, it's more tastefully done there. But not saying that this isn't beautiful. I mean, it's just normal. But still, wonderful. Just the same. Now, I am gonna attempt, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. Look at that. I can't. Like my fingers, they don't even reach the end. It's so difficult, so I can't. Really, like, no, that's not gonna happen for me. So I shuffle this deck this way just because I really can't. So I shuffle most of my decks this way because I do have tiny hands. But yeah, it does work. Or sometimes if I'm really desperate to get get a good mix, shuffle this that way, and then shuffle them. Which is kind of like tedious and a little bit, a lot of work actually. But when you shuffle it this way, it works well. Problem is, it is super glossy to the point that it flies off sometimes. And I'm quite used to this deck already. I've been using it a lot last year, so I'm pretty much used to the texture of the cards, so I'm able to catch them and whatnot, or control how I shuffle. But when it was new, it was just like flying everywhere because quality. It's very, very glossy. Now, let's try to shuffle the This Might Hurt, sorry. This Might Hurt Tarot this way. I'm gonna try to move a little bit. Just one sec. I do have small hands, so pardon me, but it still works because it is thinner and cardstock. Well, not really thinner. It's not significantly thinner, but it is more manageable. Cardstock is still beautiful, by the way. It's phenomenal. It's great. Look at that. It is wonderful. I just wish I have longer fingers so I can shuffle it in one go. But sometimes I can. It depends on my mood. Sometimes I can stretch my fingers, but look at that. Isn't it? Oh, God, I love shuffling. It's really one of my favorite things to do. But let me try again. Oops, I'm sorry. I keep tugging the. Maybe if I shuffle them this way, maybe because it's already a little bit bowed. So perhaps if I shuffle them this way, I'll face a little bit less resistance. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Please don't embarrass me. There you go. Et voila, it's divine. It's beautiful. So what do you guys think? That's the This Might Hurt Tarot, and this is the modern. Let me put the boxes beside them. Modern Witch Tarot. What do you think? Are you getting both? Do you have both? Let me know what you guys think, which one you prefer. But as for me, like the final verdict, I am not parting ways with any of these decks. Not now, not in the near future. Just because I have, two decks that quite have the same style. I mean, energetically, they give me different vibes. Do you know what I mean? Like this one, I have used it a long time. So the connection is still there. So even if I don't use it for a long time, I still can read with it very efficiently, very fast. It's still smooth. This one, I've been using it for for like several weeks now, maybe a month. And I'm still getting to know the deck. But so far it's been giving me good readings, very clear as well, but just to be honest, not as clear as this one. There you go. What else do we want to say? The outfits in this one, yeah, I'm not really that much of a fan. I think they're quirky and funky, but art style wise, I love this better just because it's also matte, so that's very appealing to me too. It has the edging, which is stunning, and this is so premier. But that's it. That is what I have for you today. I would love to talk to you. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. If you enjoyed this video, or if you like comparison videos, or unboxings, reviews, and whatnot, I do them here on my channel. Please consider giving this video a like. Oh, and please consider subscribing to my channel as well. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope I see you again soon. Bye!